It's not the earth our forefathers knew. What we came to interface years back is also different from the reality we now live. Mother Nature screams with angst and the human race feels the blows. Sea levels are rising and oceans becoming warmer. Longer, more intense droughts threaten crops, wildlife and freshwater supplies. The rains of Africa that were once sung about are now scarce or sporadic, not quite the right balance.
Representatives from more than 160 nations are signing a historic climate agreement now at the United Nations.
In December 2015, delegates at the UN climate talks in Paris adopted a climate change pact. The Paris Agreement, considered to be the world's first of a kind, has at its center limiting warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial times. Fast forward March 2017, 20 million people across 4 nations were declared as facing famine, according to the UN. The international body requires billions of dollars to prevent this painful killer in Yemen, South Sudan, Somalia and northeastern Nigeria. Uganda has not been immune to this crisis either. Locals of Isingiro district, Karamoja and Teso regions are facing the wrath of the change in weather patterns. While the world tries to save the millions from starving to death, what's not to say many more are to go down this path as well in the future. But somewhere in the desert, there lies an oasis, the youngsters. Conservation efforts for community development, Second Fee, a non-profit government organization, is motivating these youngsters to take the lead.
SECOD stands for Conservation Efforts for Community Development. It's an indigenous non-government organization that was started in southern Uganda out of a concern for environment degradation that was taking place far back in 1999 that claimed so many lives. A number of professionals and well-wishers came together to join hands and contribute towards conservation of natural resources for the good of the community and the environment at large. SECOD is accredited to United Nations Convention to combat desertification since 2003 and is a member of Foundation for Environmental Education. We've closely worked together with National Management Authority, Environment Management Authority, NEMA, Uganda National Commission for UNESCO, Education Departments, and Community Development Departments.
Robert Isingoma is the country director of Second Fee Uganda.
Much of the work we do is based on promoting environmental education in schools because we believe human nature has greatly contributed to environmental degradation. And therefore, once people are aware of how to sustainably conserve the environment, there's a lot people can do towards reversing the trend. And it's for that reason that we adopted the Eco Schools program, which is an international program, a concept that was developed as far back as in 1992 by FEE.
The Eco Schools global program engages 16 million children across 64 countries, making it the largest environmental schools program in the world. In Uganda, 320 schools are actively taking learners through activities aimed at conserving the environment. These vary from appropriate ways of waste management, efficient energy-saving avenues, and grooming responsible citizens. St. Kagwa Boarding Primary School in Bushenyi brags the status of an eco school. Today, the Eco Schools Parliament is in session deliberating on how humans are a contributing factor in the current climate changes and solutions needed to address this malady.
Let us take the resource why man is accused of the current climate changes, the solutions step so as to cut the current climate changes.
Right, Honorable Speaker. How many leaders of ours are environmental focused? How many times has the government of Uganda, for example, put a ban on the use of bottles, papers and plastics? Has it worked? Haven't you heard the government of Uganda wanting to sell Maria forests, swamps, game reserves and game parks to investors?
Mr. Speaker, urbanization has also created numerous environmental problems ranging from local to global scale. Mr. Speaker, this includes increased air and water pollution, decreased water supply, increased energy demands, and local climate change.
Our emissions of greenhouse gases continue to rise of the atmosphere and the temperature is increasing. Mr. Speaker, today the Earth is already 1 degree Celsius hotter than the start of the 20th century.
Mr. Speaker, we can increase our reliance on renewable energy sources such as wind, sun, and geothermal. And we can manufacture efficient appliances and conserve energy.
I propose that we write petition letters to the NEMA, head of natural resources at the district, and even the president petitioning on people who encroach wetlands for development reasons.
We should use the 5 R's control global warming. That is reuse, reduce, reject, recycle, and report.
The Eco Pupils Parliamentary Sessions are to the Eco Schools what water is to fish. The parliaments at St. Aloysius Primary School, Mbarara, and Buganda Road Primary School in the capital, Kampala, also sit in debate. These parliamentary sessions act as a conduit for effecting change in the environment and overall welfare of the pupils.
We have told the school administration that sorting garbage, then actually it was a big problem. It was a problem, but we went in the Eco People's Parliament, we sat for a meeting, we discussed about it. The school administration, the mistress, we wrote a letter, we gave it to her. She listened to our request.
A 2009 National Environment Management Authority NEMA report revealed that Uganda loses 6,000 hectares of forests every 30 days, with at least 22,500 primary schools and at least 2,000 secondary schools in Uganda, most of which rely on firewood for fuel. The impact these figures have on the environment is grave. However, through the Eco Schools program, this trend is being reversed. Eco Schools have embarked on eco-friendly energy alternatives, and the results are there for all to see.
Invention of energy-saving stoves here has reduced the consumption of fuel. As you can see, a heap of firewood here, which we obtained from a distant place in the park deep there. This heap is able to take us for more than 4 months without purchasing firewood again, and that has been attributed to the presence of energy-saving stoves.
At Buganda Road Primary School, theirs was the challenge of disposing used sanitary towels.
If you look at the number of children we have in Buganda Road Primary School, there are over 2,600 and the like. Making like half of the children girls. Actually, sometimes girls are more than the boys. I approached the Eco Schools, it's called SECOD Uganda. I told them our problem, and they agreed to fund to make for us an incinerator.
Didas Gumisiriza is also a focal point person of the program at St. Kagwa Primary School in Bushenyi, a position he has held for over 5 years.
The Eco School program emphasizes is sustainability from one of the Millennium Development Goals. As you can see, we started with a rainwater harvesting project. From there, we are able to improve the compound because we are able to save money which would have been paid in National Water and Sewerage Corporation. So some of the money was used to start the water purification system, as you have seen. We were able to get some money. We have improved our fencing system, as you can see. We were able to get some money, save some money. We have constructed one staff quarter, as you can see. So the program looks at how you can move from one stage to another. As I said, the SECOD emphasizes, the Eco School program emphasizes bringing the parents on board. We teachers, we are here. Tomorrow we can be transferred to another school.
And when this happens, the system that holds the Eco Schools concept does not die. A coordinating center tutor is always in place to train and retrain teachers in Eco Schools on best teaching approaches.
The teachers are trained and helped in using active and participatory approaches to teaching and learning.
The IVEC approach is a key teaching approach used by Eco Schools. IVEC stands for Investigation, where teachers challenge learners to seek deeper understanding of different topics. Vision, where teachers challenge learners to envision the kind of world they would like to live in. Action, after envisioning, the learners are guided to put into practice their ideas. Change, desirable behavioral changes are then created when all this is observed to the latter. The IVEC approach is unique in nature as it cuts across all other teaching approaches: the participatory, write-based, action-based, experiential, learner-empowering and learner-centered approaches.
As you are aware, this impacts positively on the performance of the teacher and finally the learner. Improved pupil learning.
The challenge is communicating to people and getting the message across. Secondly, when you get to deal with schools especially, we've also got challenges with the administration. Because as you know, the Uganda education system is a bit skewed towards grades and results, what some people have called the league system. So people's concern, when you go to a school to introduce the ideas, how is this going to help us to pass primary leaving if you are in a primary school? If you're in a secondary school, how is this going to contribute to good grades and so on? So people's teachers, head teachers, have got a kind of a closed mind that they are only looking for good grades.
The program aims at achieving an education for sustainable development.
You may have heard that we had a decade of education for sustainable development. Now this decade was pronounced to ensure that countries are compliant to the principles of education for sustainable development. That is ensuring that economic development does not deplete the needs of the future generation.
Once education changes the mindset of the learner and the learner is able to change the mindset of the parent, we shall have changed society. So I appeal to the government and all the teachers out there to embrace this program.
We need this as a country program. Right now we are limited to Western Uganda, to Central, and maybe 1 or 2 schools in Northern Uganda. And this is because of the funding, but we need to roll out, spread out, because it's a good practice. Environmental issues are not only for Kampala people or for Western Uganda. It's a worldwide, it's a global issue.
The NGOs, entities like SECOD, has been in the 4th district of southwestern Uganda, in Mbarara, Bushenyi, Sinjiro, for quite some time. And where they have been, they have left a significant impact. In fact, the NGOs do much better than the government because they are there with the community and they take a longer time with each community, and therefore until they see the results and then move on.
Humans, the custodians of the flora and fauna, have a huge task ahead as populations continue to spiral. The changing climate is a real threat to our planet's diversity of life. SECOD Fee Uganda believes that children befit the battleground in the fight against climate change and its effects.
Because our parents are growing old, and you also are growing old, and we are the generation. So they will have to teach us so that also in our generation we conserve the environment, and also the generation after us will also learn that the other generation conserved it, so we must leave it better than the way we found it.